Welcome, Aquarius. I have a really cool spread that I'm going to do for you. It's called the Spiritual Journey Tarot Spread. It was designed by the man who owns and runs Psychic Revelation, which is online. Well, I don't know what he's probably doing a whole whack of things now. But he started that in 2002, having come out of another career. And there's really good products and reference material on his site. And so he also creates creates tarot spreads, and this is one of the most interesting tarot spread I've seen. So it has 5 positions, and I think we're just going to cut this right now. Okay, for Aquarius, please. For Aquarius, please. Third pile for Aquarius. All right, there we go. Now, I'm going to tell you what we're looking at right now. And I would like you, by the way, to, at the end of this reading, I am going to give you some instructions on how to fill in a comment below this video. Well, obviously you know how to fill in comments, but I'm going to give you some instructions about how to figure out the information that I need about you. And I am going to sit here for a couple of hours, I don't care how long it takes me, and do some free readings for you. But it's on this topic matter, okay? Now, here's what we're going to look at. This is how the tarot spread goes. This pile, we're going to take the top 3 cards off. We are looking at currently, what are the majority of you working on now spiritually? Where are you in your spiritual cycle? Okay? I'm going to use this deck to get a couple of splits out just to see how you're doing it, because you may think I'm not doing anything spiritually, but I'll show you. Perhaps you absolutely are, and you don't even know it. Okay. Then we're going to ask, what is or are the main lessons for this spiritual work that you're doing here at this time? And then we're going to ask, show us a positive influence on you as you go through your spiritual journey. And then we're going to ask, are there any negative influences? Anyone, slowing down your spiritual journey or trying to block it or whatever they do? And finally, what should you do as spirit from spirit? And then I'm going to give you the instructions on what I want you to put in the comment section, and how to find the information about you that I need. Okay. All right, that's confirmation that this is going to work. Okay, one sec. Here we go. All right, so the first pile should be able to tell us, where are you on your spiritual journey? What are you currently doing? What is Aquarius currently... Sorry. Let me just try to move this up here a bit. Those 2 there, and I'll move these 2 up there. Okay. So we're just going to take the top 3 off. What is Aquarius currently doing? What houses is Aquarius working on? How is this translating out? What is Aquarius currently doing? So you could be working on houses 2, 8, and 4. This is looking fascinating. I'm going to explain to you what that means. Oh, hang on, I just realized that you can't see me. So we have Jupiter in Capricorn there. The 2 of Pentacles is Jupiter in Capricorn. This is Saturn in Pisces. And that is Venus in Aries, the 11-11, 4 of Wands. So someone may be thinking about walking away from a marriage. I believe that someone is thinking. Or you may be thinking about walking away from family. Let me just pause the tape for a second. I just want to say right off the bat, I'm really blown away by this. By the way, Sasha, if you're watching, get ready to be blown away. Maybe Sasha is one of our subscribers. She's an Aquarius. This is just unreal what I'm about to tell you here. So, first of all, I'm going to tell you what each one of these, what you're working on, first of all, and then I'm going to tell you what I think you're doing. Okay? So over here, this tells me that you are working on your second house. What does that mean? What does that mean? First of all, there are 12 houses on that little wheel, okay, when you look at your birth chart. There are 12. All of those 12 houses. Now, you should put me in the category of East, okay, Vedic right now, because about 99% of what is on the internet is wrong about houses and about spiritual development. It is disgustingly wrong. Anyway, let me continue, and I'll tell you why I feel that way, and you'll understand it in a minute. Those 12 houses represent things that you think you need to be happy. And in fact, some of you are, so of course, let me just exaggerate here a little bit. Let's say that in house 7, there's a chocolate bar. You know, I need my chocolate, I need my alcohol, I need my husband, I need my mom, I need my children, I need to be able to say I'm married, I need my my license to practice real estate, or I need to be a medical doctor, I need a good reputation, I need to have 2 legs and not one, I'll never be happy if I lose my leg. Earthly attachments, they are called. And so if you read the horse manure that is on 99% of the astrological sites, it's disgusting. What they will do, for example, is for the second house here. This second house has to do with things that you think you need to survive. So I know some people who are probably currently working on this house. It could be a hoarder, someone who hoards. They're always afraid that they're going to run out of things. So they get anxiety if they have, any less than 20 boxes of, shreddies, or you get the idea. It's someone who fears that they're going to run out. But it can be a lot of other things. Let me just explain to you what I believe you're working on here in the second house. It's not the shreddies, okay? The lesson in clearing out your second house can be summed up by quoting from Proverbs 30, verses 7 to 9. First, help me never to tell a lie. Second, give me neither, first of all, that lie thing doesn't apply. Second, give me neither poverty nor riches. Give me just enough to satisfy my needs. So there's a couple of other ways of phrasing that, but think of a bird. Think of there was a gorgeous, big, fat, beautiful, brilliantly blue robin in the backyard this morning, and I was just admiring it, and then it went and the sound of it. But anyway, that robin, do you think that robin is worrying and has anxiety about whether or not it's going to get food tomorrow? No. Is somebody guaranteeing to, drop off some food to the robin? No. Does the robin have any guarantee or plan about where? Has the robin even thought about tomorrow? No. Because the Robin has an inner knowing, confidence, faith, trust that the Robin will be provided for. So this is what, now the reason why this is relevant, I think, Sasha, to you is because of what you're doing over here. She's doing a very brave move, and she could be thinking, worrying, will I have enough? She's got a legitimate excuse to worry about that. But if you find out that you have a lot of planets in your second house, you are likely trying to clear out the fear of running out of food, money, family. So these are things that we think we need to be happy. We think we need, we think of these as basic survivals. You can throw family into the second house, family members. Feeling insecure if you don't have family members, insecure if you don't have a husband, insecure if you don't have the support of your family, even though, you know, perhaps you might be detaching from them, and maybe everybody in your community judges a single person. Well, that's an earthly attachment that you're shredding shredding too, putting in the paper shredder, while you're working on your second house. And it also has to do with your income. You know that so somebody like Sasha, for example, has an inner knowing that she will, even though, you know, there's no guarantee, she doesn't even know the name of the company that she might be working for next, but she's confident that she'll get a job because she has spirit, because she can dip into the source of everything. By the way, Sasha, every time I talk to her, she has her Bible on her, by the way. Now, let me explain to you why this makes sense here. Of course somebody would be feeling that way. They might be thinking about it because what I believe is happening is some of you are doing a final walk away, either from family members or you could be walking away from a home, because this can relate to possessions as well, property. You could be, maybe there was a fight over a will and you just said, look, F it, I'm gone, take the money, I do not care. And so look at this Four of Wands that somebody's walking away from. Most people, you know, dream of going toward it, but somebody has to walk away. And perhaps everyone thinks that, you know, your family is all welcoming these people. Oh, yeah, they're so, you know, the whole community thinks that they're so kind and nice, and maybe behind closed doors they insult you every 3 seconds, tear you down in a passive-aggressive way. You have got to walk away from that. And so what's happening here, I'm going to just talk about the fourth house for a moment. You're going to see how much sense this makes. By the way, where are you on your spiritual journey? You're doing fan-freaking-tastic, because you've got the courage to do that. Let me just show you what I think you're detaching from here. So the fourth house has to do with people who have attachments, earthly attachments. That means that they feel like they need it and they'll die if they don't have it, or will be very depressed. The fourth house represents unhealthy earthly attachments to real estate, property, home environment. These people think it's the essence of security, a comfortable home. Have to have that, or else, you know, you won't be up to par. Must have, you know, it's the domestic aspects of life. So must have a husband, must have a, you know, a partner. Inheritance as well, vehicles. So these are things all around the home that if you have not done, if you've not cleared out your fourth house, it means that you will feel miserable if you happen to lose your home or your car, or, you know, you have to, there is a break in communication. That, you see, you think of the laughing Buddha on the sidewalk who doesn't have a penny, and he's absolutely joyfully happy. Why? Because maybe it's not because he doesn't want those things and enjoy those things. It's because he knows that tonight he can go home and go into his meditation and manifest it for tomorrow if he wants. It's because he has an unshakable, and so does Sasha, an unshakable faith in spirit and his connection to spirit and his ability to be blessed and to create one's own blessings by keeping the mind aligned with spirit and keeping the mind positive and being patient. So this, although somebody is walking away from these things, this person is able to do this because they know that they can create it again in a less toxic environment. So if you just casually Google, what is the fourth house in astrology? You'll get a lot of verbal diarrhea, horse manure, inaccurate information about what it is. What it will say is that it's a beautiful home and your connection to your family and blah, 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 blah. And then it'll go on about what you can do to ensure you eat healthy and blah, blah, blah. You know, it totally is the inverse of, you know, the whole meaning of, you know, this information actually was based on ancient Vedas. Anyway, attachment referral is what makes us miserable. It's what drives people to steal, to commit fraud, to panic because their pride, you know, is so high. They want to look good, so they commit a crime, you know, steal money, transfer money out of somebody else's account so that they can pay for such and such or pay their mortgage so they don't have to be seen at a food bank. Pride goeth before the fall, you know. So let's talk about the 8th house now. So the 8th house has to do with sudden losses, sudden crises, sudden deaths, sudden distress. It has to do with things that happen very suddenly, and it usually is, it refers to a shocking or a great loss. I just saw 1717, by the way, star, that's you. So of course, how do you clear out that house? Here's a little quote. The goal is to be steady in both happiness and distress, for that will make you eligible for liberation. In other words, freedom. And the whole idea is to get to peace, to not feel like you need anything. You don't need makeup or money or reputation, or fancy friends, you know, or a boyfriend or a husband or a title, you know, or a fancy car. You get the idea. But the 8th house has to do with your deepest fear, okay? Now, so how do you shed this attachment? You confront it. I wouldn't use the word confront, but you face it. So that book that I'm always begging you guys to read, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway, that's exactly, the whole book is about clearing out your 8th house. She actually asks you in the beginning of the book to write down absolutely everything, a final list of every freaking thing that's bothering you right now, giving you anxiety. What are you afraid of? And you might write down 26 things, and she makes you write down, get it all out. Now, if all those things were resolved, would you feel okay? Yep, I would. And then she takes you through it, by the way, and she makes you feel wonderful, even if those things were lost. So basically, it's all about not confronting fear, but looking at fear and looking at it and saying, okay, what if? And finding a way, looking at that and realizing, wow, wait a minute, I can turn this around to my advantage. And I can rebuild this stuff that was lost anyway. You get the idea. You get the idea. I'm going to give you an example, personal example. My mother passed away suddenly. I didn't want to share this with, some of you guys know, because I didn't want to make a big deal about it. Don't comment on it if you don't mind in the comments section, sorry. You can make it up to me by doing the little project that I want you to do at the end of the reading. And do you know what came out of that? Was that she really was the only person that I had an attachment. I cared of what she thought of me. And one thing, the only good thing that came out of her passing away was it was a relief that now if I get a bad reputation or something, you know, some scandal comes out about me, I don't embarrass her, and she doesn't, you know, it's a complete relief. I cared about her so much and we had so much respect for her and reverence for her that right now I feel free as a bird. I don't care, you know, literally do not care what happens to me now, because I know I can't let her down, you know. So it's a very freeing, liberating thing. You can find that, you can really find that that peaceful, liberating thing about a great loss, you know. So what do we see before us? We see somebody who is doing a clear walkaway. And by the way, we know you're going up to something good because the 8 always goes up to the 9 of cups. There is no 5 of wands here. There's no shouting. There's no arguing. There's no trickery. There's just a very clear, somber walkaway. There's people back there who still want you to come back, but and over here, and I believe what this is that this is a little bit of unsteadiness. You could be emotional, but you're managing. Look at that. You've got what you did. You've got a lot to do now, probably very busy. Maybe you've got, you know, kids you have to take care of. But what you did was because these pentacles were about to drop, you just, okay, that's fine. I'll put a rope around it so I don't drop the pentacle. Now, you're not going to be in this excogitating mode for very long. That's temporary. But you're doing what you have to do. You're managing a transition here. So as for the question of where are they on their current spiritual cycle, you're working on 3 houses and you're doing a damn good job. Okay? Now we're going to go to the next question. The next question is, what is the central lesson for this cycle? Okay, so I'm going to put this and this. We don't need that pile anymore, okay? Put this over there. Just a second now. Did I just mess up a pile? Hang on. Did I just mess up a pile? No. Why did this come out this way? Just a minute. I'm sorry, Aqua. Hang on. Where's this end? I took the top 3 off, right? Took the top 3 off this. God, I'm panicking now. Yeah, okay. So this was the first pile. We've got 4 left. Okay, we're fine. Sorry about that. Okay, so this is our second question. What is the central lesson for this cycle? So we have to take 3 off this. Here we go. Netza. Oh God, this still looks really, really good. Hey, Aqua, remember how we saw you going from the 8 of cups? I know. And I said, where's the 8 go up to the 9? You're headed up there. Okay, now give me a moment because I've got to interpret these cards here. Okay, Sasha, I hope you're still listening. This is blowing my mind here. Excuse me. So we're going to talk about this card first. So you'll notice that that's number 7. I believe that, so the 7th and the 9th houses are involved here. And I'm going to briefly refer to the first house. However, I don't think that any of you, if this reading is resonating even 50%, I do not think that the first house is at all relevant, and I'm going to explain why in a minute. It's the 7th house. So before I talk about the 7th house, I need to talk, if you look at your wheel, okay, if you go ahead to Cafe Astrology, which I'm going to be asking all of you to do at the end of the reading, for me to give you your free little comment in the comment section, your mini reading in the comment section. on the wheel, the 7th house is in direct opposition to the 1st house. So before I tell you about the 7th house and what you've learned, what you're learning, what was the question here? The central lesson, I believe you already have it. But anyway, the house that is directly opposite to the 7th house on the wheel is the 1st house. So the 1st house is all about fear of losing your identity. In other words, if you identify as being a beautiful blonde garbage woman, okay? Or a beautiful blonde fisherwoman, or a beautiful blonde engineer, I don't know, but part of what you identify with is something, your hair, your physical looks, it's the way you, excuse me, it is, it may be, if you're an athlete, for example, you may think of yourself, let's say if you have to give up swimming, you're a professional swimmer, and you have to give that up, or you have to give up diving, you have to give up football, or you have to give up something that you thought was you. That's me. I'm Joe, the football player, you know, or I'm Marianne, the concert pianist, you know, when you've just had an accident and you've had to have your hands amputated or something. You get the idea. So people who have not cleared out their 1st house they will be in agony if they lose these things that they think they are define themselves. I remember seeing on television once a really, really sad story, and this would be the extreme of someone who is not getting the lesson, not learning the lesson of the 1st house. So it was a story of this really beautiful blonde woman. Now, to be honest, I think she kind of picked a fight with, she was picking a fight with another woman. They were fighting over a man. And this was going on for years, a long period of time, peace bonds, you know, and one of them was getting violent with the other. And the blonde woman was a bit cocky. And she was very well educated, and she had a lot of nice things, and she was extremely attractive, like model, good-looking face, gorgeous blonde hair. And she was a little bit mean to the young woman who I think had, a mental disorder, and she was very, very heartbroken and jealous over this guy because he had fallen in love with the blonde woman. So the woman who went crazy poured gasoline over this blonde woman's face and lit her on fire. And you can guess what happened. Some of you may have seen this, by the way. I think it was an Australian production, true story. She is down to no face, absolutely no face. Like, it's not. She would have to wear a mask. It is amazing that she even survived. Of course, no hair. So what she does is she just wears like a balaclava. I don't know what they call them, but they just have little holes for the eyes. Now, if you did watch that program, you might agree with me that I still think that woman is full of hatred, judgment, and punishment. She's still not getting a lesson. But anyway, the reason why she's angry still is because she's lost her looks, and she was not clearing out her 1st house, and she was starting to hurt people. But you'd think now, you see, this is the kind of extremes that someone, can go to. Someone may be very, very stubborn, in that situation. But that is what happens, though. These are the kind of dreadful things that can happen if you continue to feel that you need to look beautiful. You need this. You need that. It will be a disaster. if you don't look absolutely drop dead gorgeous, or if you lose the locks or something that you identified with, what's the essence of you cannot be picked up by the five senses. It is magic. It doesn't show up in the 3D, but it exists. Most of you already know this, actually. I would say that all of you know that. So that's the first house, okay? It's someone who identifies either with their body, they think they only accept themselves if they're this thing, or they look a certain way. You get the idea. It is a very, very debilitating attachment, okay? It creates a lot of anxiety, fear, pain, regret, anger, you name it. If that house isn't cleared out, that kind of a person could be dangerous to be around, okay? So to sum up, the first house is about you and your personal identity. Who you are, who you believe that you are. The opposite of that is the seventh house. The seventh house, and I'm going to think of Sasha now. The seventh house is how you identify in a relationship. Now, for most women, I believe that they're very good at this, because here is the challenge. The challenge is to allow yourself to literally become one. That you've heard that thing, oneness. It's interesting because when we all think that, oh, it's so great and feminist when the woman doesn't take the man's name. Good for her, that's wonderful. No, that's called someone who needs to clear out their seventh house. That's called separateness. That's called fear. That's the devil energy. If you don't want to take the man's name, don't get married, because two become one. If you're afraid of, there's even a card. Now, men have this issue, but I'm going to give them a pass on it, and I'll tell you why. Because traditionally, they had no problem with it. Traditionally, men did not need to clear out this house, because the woman did become one with the man, and she became him. Okay, so she was the one who got lost, she didn't feel lost in the connection back then, but there are some women who feel like they need their personal identity. Those women don't have their seventh house cleared out. Do you remember, there is a card in this deck that expresses the fear of this house when it's not cleared out. Just hang on one second. So remember, the seventh house is how you identify yourself in a relationship. When the seventh house is not cleared out, here is the seventh house that hasn't been worked on. I'm afraid of losing myself in this connection. Please have patience with my fears and insecurities. So it's devil energy. So anyone who says, and go ahead, just Google the seventh house in astrology, and you're going to get this big lot of horse manure on probably encouraging you to have your own separate identity, in a relationship. No, that's not what it is. Lady Colin Campbell, who is a very, very world-renowned author, podcast. She is interviewed almost every day on national television. Lady Colin Campbell. Her name is not in that name at all, her original name. She wasn't afraid of getting lost in the connection. Why? Because she knew she was there. She knows who she is. She doesn't need other people to see the name and, I'm still here. No. She didn't need people to see that she was still there. She loved her husband so much. She just became one. Two became one. And you see, so that, I believe, is the traditional way that things used to go and they used to work. And back then, that's why men were not fearful of losing themselves in the connection. But women might as well just don't go living with a man. If you have all this separateness is what destroys these relationships. Anyway, the lesson I believe so far, no, just wait till I get over there. The lesson I believe that maybe you haven't learned this yet, but here's what it looks like. Your person, although you may not have understood, and do you know that for months and months I didn't understand that card? I didn't understand because I've never felt afraid of losing myself. But someone who needs a position, someone who needs to be acknowledged, like first off, and I'm the master of this connection. That person, little things like you not taking their name, and maybe you want one of the children to have a hyphenated name. Oh God, please don't do that to your child. Anyway, no hyphens. Okay. I mean, it's all what it is it just says, I want to be separate. I want to be out here too. Really that means that probably you shouldn't have gotten married, because it's about two becoming one, And if you're afraid that people won't notice you anymore, you got to go clear out this house before. It shouldn't matter. If you are unconditionally in love with your husband, if that person you love unconditionally and you want to be with them in a committed relationship, you don't need that separate energy. And if you do, don't get married. Anyway, sorry. What I think is happening here, Sash, is that this could have been his issue. Pisces issue. Selfish. Keeping things stuck. That's why things were kept stuck. Wanting to control everything. So the lesson, the goal, if you don't feel like you cleared this out yet, the idea of clearing out the seventh house and dealing with that separateness and how you identify yourself in a relationship. And by the way, this can have to do with a business relationship, a partnership, a marriage, partnerships, relationships. It could be you working on a contract with someone. It's when two people are working together to do something. So here's the goal that you need: to sacrifice for others. To go ahead and lose. Don't be afraid of losing your identity in the relationship. You become the product that you're working on becomes something greater, than the whole. So let me explain to you what happens. Now, don't be insulted if it turns out that you have a lot of planets in your seventh house. Don't be insulted. But here is what I feel. There is a Vedic source that I use, and this person told me that the one thing you should look at in somebody's birth chart before you marry them is their seventh house. If there are a load of planets in their seventh house, it means that this person is going to be difficult to work with, to plan with, to live with, to be married with. They're going to have something to say about everything. They're argumentative. They get fired all the time. This person will complain and be negative. They have an enormous amount of trouble working with others, whether it's in a relationship or a partnership, a business partnership, because they don't have the ability to sacrifice for the other. They just don't. And it's out. What is it out of? Are they being mean? No, they're full of fear that they won't be acknowledged, right? Let me give you an example of someone who does not have a load of planets in her seventh house. A friend of mine, and in fact, it was back in junior high school. So there were three of us girls, And Carla was the one who was giving the speech when we were all graduating from junior high. And she was really panicking the night before. And our friend Gail offered to write the speech for her, and she wrote a beautiful, incredible. It was just like everyone was cheering, after the speech was given. And of course, Carla didn't tell anybody that Gail wrote it, but neither did Gail. And Gail was happy, just happy for her. Don't need credit. Ability to sacrifice. Confident in yourself. Remember, at the end of the day, it was not between you and them, or you and the crowd, or you and the judges. It's between you and God. God saw that. That's all. That's all. And so I feel that this Saj, this is a personal reading for Saj now, is part of the reason why things did not work with Pais. You all along, all the sacrifice and your cute little babies hanging off her, one on one side and the gorgeous, cute little, cutie baby on the other side, this little hand on her chest. The Empress, and doing everything for Pisces. And he acting like a single man, that this person is single and selfish. So, of course, the goal of what you're working on right now is to remember. First of all, this is a card of victory, okay? So over here, if you think you're not making progress, you are. You have a lot to offer. There's something very stable here. And because you did that, because you're not afraid, there is a 9 of Cups wish fulfillment coming in. You've moved from the 8 to the 9. Okay? I feel like there's some kind of a very solid offer, romantic offer, or a solid job offer coming in. Okay, so in other words, you sacrificed for whatever you just walked away from. You were worried that you weren't going to have money or food or concerned. Look at this, victory. That's a job offer or a committed contract, and that's your wish. So the goal, the central lesson for you, 2 things. That you were right to sacrifice for either your family or your relationship or whatever. That you set a good example here. And there is a wish coming in your future with the 9 of Cups. Okay? Now we are going to the position of what in your life, what is positively influencing on your spiritual journey. This is going to be interesting. Why do these cards always get, I guess because I was flicking it over. No, because we just took the top 3 off. Okay. What is positively, okay, so we're done with the first 2 piles. 1, 2. Yeah, we have 3 questions left. So these are the 3 piles we have left. I'm just taking these cards right off the table so I don't confuse myself. All right, so we're going to take 3 cards off. So what are the positive influences at the current moment on Aquarius's spiritual journey? This is going to be interesting. Oh, wow. Just look at, whoa! Aqua, look at all the powerful 2 major arcana cards. And a Queen of Swords, who's pretty awesome. Give me a moment, okay. So quite clearly, first of all, look at your first house here. I'm just, you see that number 1 up there. I know that Gemini is associated with the 3rd house, but, arguably that could be Virgo too. But what I'm getting here is, remember, this person works with what's in their mind and spirit. They don't identify themselves with a physical thing, a cup or a pentacle or a sword or wand. They don't even use these things here, actually. They're aware that they're there. But what they rely on, the essence of this person, is their power to manifest by aligning with spirit. So what's positively impacting is that your first house is cleared out, that you do not identify with your looks or your car or your money or whatever. And you're not, if you don't have those, you're not bothered by it. It's the same thing. You're not attached. And the first house is cleared out. Now look at the second house. That's pretty amazing. So yeah, I mean, this is your version of, you intuitively know that you're going to have enough food for the next day. This is someone who uses their intuition. They don't need proof. They don't need to. They don't need to see empirical evidence that they're going to. In other words, let's say there isn't a cent in your account right now, and you're worried about whether or not you're going to have money in 3 hours. You could probably go sit down and listen to a subliminal instant money manifesting video. And by the way, they work. They absolutely work. But anyway, what's positively impacting you is the amount of intuition, but just silent awareness. Perhaps what's positively impacting your situation is that you're remaining silent. You're not sharing information, and you're not saying anything more than what's required. The other thing is that you are unshakable. Remember we had the Two of Pentacles earlier, who was a little bit shook? Well, it won't be like that for long, because she's sitting between two of the most powerful forces. The pillar of misery and and my left ear just went off. Pillar of misery and the pillar of mercy. These are more powerful. They are opposing forces. I mean, for somebody to be able to remain still, she is unmoved. The moon doesn't rule her. She rules the moon. Imagine that the moon caused the tides. I feel like you have an unshakable faith in your intuition. You know that you're right. You know how to manifest. You're very capable. I feel like you're very knowledgeable. Now, this woman has a Torah in her, which is really just the Old Testament for anyone who's, Anglican or Catholic, or it's just the Old Testament, which everybody sort of, a lot of people have. Now, and I mean, if you're from India, that could be the Quran. That it's a biblical text is my point. That is a plus for you. That is positively influencing your faith in spirit, your unshakable faith, your ability to manifest positive thought. Over here, I just feel like that. You see that sword that's straight up? That is your own sense of fairness. You're just asking for the truth. And I feel like the other thing too with the Queen of Swords is she thinks she's not strategizing in a sneaky way, but she cuts away, she clears off the bullshit and gets down to the heart of the matter. Excuse my language. And also, I mean, this could be you asking for truth and your intuition. You may have already had it. I feel like you are very powerful. So obviously, you have the energy of the Magician and the High Priestess, and you are the Fool. So you've got the top 3 cards on the first level of the Tree of Life. And you have raised your sword for truth and clarity and justice. You've communicated in a fair, straightforward way. I also feel like you just simply asked for the truth. That's all you did. Now, we are going to now go to the next question. The next question is, what negative influences, what has been influencing this spiritual journey in a negative way? This should be interesting. What has been damaging or negatively influencing? Oh, here we go. Amazing. And cards just got negative. All we had were beautiful cards. Okay, that one's okay. Yeah, that one. Wow. What is negatively impacting you? I'll say somebody's very jealous. give me a moment. Wow, interesting. I believe, and I was just sitting here visually looking at this. Somebody, I feel like this could be your person. I mean, it could be anyone, a family member, somebody who you're close to, who everybody thinks is looking out for you or was looking out for you. This person really actually wants to keep you there. This person doesn't want anyone to know the damage that they've done to you. It may not have overtly looked like it, but you were all ready for a spiritual completion here, and somehow this jerk managed to keep you stuck. And it's like this person doesn't want you to see what you could have, but this person also doesn't want anyone else to see. Because I think that person is looking that way, making sure nobody looks, nobody sees that I've got Aquarius in the Eight of Swords. Nobody look. Why? Because I think this person is afraid that someone is going to come in, take the blindfold off, and then you're going to go into this completion. This person's worst fear is an ending, but it's you ending things. There could have been people who were jealous. Your person, like this page knows things. They have accurate information. There's a blindfold around you here. Maybe this person owed you information, but they were afraid to give it to you because they, thought there would be an ending. And then, what would everybody else think? What would people think? So your person, that what's been keeping you stuck, I think, is that this person who is around you clearly has fear, low vibrational energy. They want to keep you stuck. They're afraid of losing you. They're afraid of what other people think. They're afraid of you moving on. They're afraid they're not good enough. Fear. Somebody has been keeping you stuck. It could be somebody who's jealous. There's a card that wants to poke out under there. Oh, no, it's just keep forgetting that I turned over 3. Let's, hang on. I just want to clarify this with another deck. What has been negatively? Now that is 21. That's the world. I suppose if we reverse those numbers, that could be the 12th house, but I'm not sure if that quite goes here. Clarify what is influencing Aquarius's situation negatively. Yeah, again, it could be your person with the 7th house coming out again. It could be that your person, that their ego was so big, they cared about what everyone else thought. They didn't want to be defined by a wife or defined by a commitment. They may have wanted to cheat to control things. Let's just keep going now with the next, with the next and last question, Hannah. I feel like I just screwed something up. There's supposed to be another pile. Anyway, let's just keep going. We'll use this one for the next question. So here we have, oh no, that is the last question. This is the last question. The last question is, what do you need to do? Okay? So I'm going to just take 3 off the top. What does Aquarius need to do? I'm sorry, this reading is so long. Oh my God, that's amazing. Wow. Can we clarify the... No, we don't need to, okay? Why does Aquarius need to do this? Clarify the Knight of Swords, please. Clarify the Knight. It's way over there. Oh, wow. We keep seeing that Page of Cups. Okay, give me a moment. No, I am going to clarify it. Could I please clarify the Knight of Swords? What is that Knight of Swords doing? Oh my God. Okay. Why did he start off so, sorry. Why is he moving so quickly and looking so angry though? Why is, sorry. I'm going to take them. I think he may feel like a bit of a cad here. He may be upset that you're not upset. I mean, your person definitely was part of something very sneaky up there. Boy, this is really weird advice. So I feel like the main advice is to forgive, okay, with the solid decision to forgive. I suppose it could be in relation to the Knight of Swords, the Seven of Swords. You may start hearing from someone from the past here. I'm going to get one more split, okay? And I'm going to get it from the normal deck here. If I can fix it back up. Okay, I know what this is. So you may feel, I mean, if you're in this situation, I mean, even if you're not dealing with a love situation, if these are, you know, family members or a business or whatever, you may feel, especially if you are in, is the King of Wands, yeah, no, especially if you are in, wow, if you're in agreement with this reading thus far, yeah, even like 65% of it, I don't think this is your past person. I think that's somebody new. Okay? But here's what Spirit wants you to know. I think you might be feeling a little bit guilty, or maybe you haven't been single in, 20 years or something, or 18 years or something. There's someone interested in you, and the difference between you and your person is that you didn't lie and sneak around and, get them all confused. That, when you're here, I feel you're looking at people that are not doing the work, and you're probably realizing every single week, every month, like you're noticing there are things that people talk about you don't even want to engage in because it's low vibrational. So let's get one final split for Aquarius. So in other words, you're doing everything right. Okay? We are going to get it from, and get one Moonology, and we're going to get one split from the, or might have to get two if I can't figure out what it is. Look at this Ace of Pentacles coming in for you. Oh, come on, Aquarius. This is looking awesome. This is looking amazing. Could be an Earth sign or Cancer. Or Pisces. A win-win outcome is forecast, and meditate and contemplate. So get your, if for those of you who are manifesting money, make sure you put in your subliminals, even if it's just for your hard work is paying off. Could be Capricorn coming in. Show the world the real you. So I feel like don't feel bad about going out and kicking up your heels. You certainly earned it. And you're being honest and straightforward. There's a difference between, Huge difference between it. It's not even comparable. Okay, now, what does Aquarius need to hear, please, at this point? Does Aquarius need to hear, please? What has Aquarius been doing right? What has Aquarius been doing right that Aquarius should keep doing? Okay, one fell on the floor. Hey, what has Aquarius been doing right? My outer experiences are a reflection of my internal condition. What you've been doing right is you've been reading books, learning this. You're learning, how you're learning about manifestation, and you believe in it. You believe in the power of the mind, which is fantastic. You're very aware of your environment, your natural environment. Okay, this is going to be good. There's 2. Wow, this is so beautiful. I witness the darkness and call on the light with my prayer. Thank you, universe, for guiding me to perceive this fear through the eyes of the teacher of love. Wow. And again, notice how we have the word fear. My fearless freedom, so somebody who's not fearful, lights up the world. Amazing reading, Aqua. Okay, let me know if it resonated. Oh my God, this was an hour long. Well, at least I will have gotten a lot of mini readings done on the live chat. Okay, love you guys. Bye.